first and foremost, I thought the game with Hope would be very good because it's an outstanding program. And when I got my start in Division III at Elma College at the age of 20, Hope was then and still is one of the premier programs in Division III. And what was ironic and cool tonight at the same time is Glenn Van Wieren was in the building with their athletic director. And as I told my team, at the Division III level, he's on par with a Bob Knight, a Roy Williams, a Mike Krzyzewski, and a Jim Boeheim when it comes to wins and what he did. And Greg Mitchell was a part of his teams. So they were always the program that everyone was measured by back in the MIAA, where my roots are. And they lived up to every bit of what I thought they would be, and they were even better because they lost some guys too. And we knew they moved very well without the ball. And we knew that they did a great job of cutting off the post. And they had a tremendous game plan, the way that they wanted to go down inside, and they moved on the airtime of the pass into their post doubles. At times there were 3 guys down there guarding the post, and that was great for us to see and have to make the adjustments on. So everything we could have wanted in this game was there. They made us play extremely hard. Our mistakes came out, the things that we haven't spent very much time on came out. The things that we've got to get better at were clear. Some of our strengths came out, but the bottom line is, after a month of practice to play against a team that well coached, that good in this environment was really good. It was great for us. So we played extremely hard. We played a lot of different lineups. I wouldn't read anything to any of the lineups. Could change again on Saturday. To me, it's about having as many multi-dimensional, versatile guys that can play numerous positions for us, and try to build ourselves to get a team that can bring fatigue to the game. And there's a lot of, we didn't put a zone offense in until yesterday. We've done nothing outside of man-to-man defense at this point, and we've got a long way to go and a lot of learning, but the most important thing is we're playing hard. We move the ball. We got guys back that get that confidence of playing that first game that had not played either since before Carolina, or in the case of James, right after Christmas. And it was great to see that. So a lot of things for us to improve upon. I thought we improved in the game, and we went against a very well-coached team. It was very cool to play against Ron Blackledge's grandson and Todd Blackledge's son. And we knew he was a good player, and he's even better than I thought after watching him on film. After being in the game with him tonight. And that was a cool sidelight for this building tonight to have the Blackledges in it. So, with that said, anything I can answer about our team?
Alex?
You mentioned last night you'd be looking at ball movement offensively and transition defense. I know you have to go back and
I'll go to the film on that. I thought the ball moved well. We still have too many turnovers. Our spacing is not there yet. I think that's one of the things. Our spacing was a little bit of the product of some of our turnovers. And again, we'll grade the transition defense. I thought the effort was good. Where we make mistakes is, which we've really got to learn, which is harder for these guys with the way that we want to guard three-point shooters and guard the penetration. We're not an overhelp team. That's not. And a lot of times guys come in and they see that ball being driven or somebody's getting beat. We got to do a better job on the ball, but we got to do a better job of early help on the ball. Okay, so we get back to our shooters, because we're going to see some really good shooters. And we wanted to treat number 11 like that tonight. We wanted to treat number 11 like that's a guy we're not coming off of. And that's harder, it's easier said than done. It takes a little time for us to get to that point. So that's part of it. And they did a good job in the corners tonight. We got our corner game going more in the second half, especially when I made our 6'11" sophomore become the 3-man tonight. The corner was filled every time. So, but again, we'll get better with that. Our transition D will get better. I thought our running game was pretty solid, even though our spacing on the break left a little be desired. We didn't get it inside as quick as we could have. But we didn't run a real. We don't have a big package right now of offensive arsenal things to go to. We just haven't done it yet. But I thought the ball moved at a pretty good rate.
Terry?
It didn't seem like your defensive intensity was great at the beginning, but really improved as the game went on. Would you agree with that?
I don't know if I would call it the intensity. The intent was good. I don't think that's a group that has not played together very much yet. Jawan just got back. right? I mean, literally, he hasn't been back a week yet when it comes to live basketball. By far the most he did, was tonight. So, and we had him guard the point guard, right? So it's a little different. So I want this team to learn how to get the old saying of get comfortable in the uncomfortable. Well, it's also how you deal with change, how you deal with sudden change, right? Like that's a football term, right? But it's also a basketball term for us with not just how do you react to a turnover, but how do you react to different teammates that you haven't spent much time with on the court yet. So intensity definitely picked up as we got more comfortable with that. But I thought our intent was very good from the beginning, which is what you want.
Mike? You've spoken previously about wanting to see OG shoot, more consistently, quicker, shoot with more range. I saw him out there about 5 o'clock, just putting up a bunch of threes with the managers early on. Is that development coming on schedule? Is that kind of, is it to your liking so far?
I can never measure. I never look at it as a schedule. Like sometimes we'll get some comparison points to where guys in the past were. So okay, well we've got him on this track, or we've got him on that track. I'll sometimes do that. OG spends as much time in the gym as anybody we've had here at his age, and if that continues to keep up, extra time. If that continues to keep up, he will be in a really good place. We've had recruits come in the past, and like maybe it's we're going to go at noon or we're going to go at 12:30, and we'll come out and say this is why this is a great place if you love to do this. And they say, okay, wait, look at these 2 or 3 guys are already out on the court working with the GMs or working with the managers, and it's 10:30, right? And we're not even going until noon. And they're not being asked, and they're not being told to, and they're not being coached other than the guys are rebounding the ball for them. So that's why we have a player development program the way that it is. That's why we have the players always create the structure, right? Or the coaches create the structure, but the players create the culture. And when you've got that kind of work ethic, and OG has it, and others have it as well, and I think he's going to continue to get better shooting the ball. And he's got to get better at a lot of things, but he works very hard at those things, and shooting is certainly a big part of it.
Pete?
Tom, the production you got from Juwan with rebounding, for a guy that hasn't really, like you mentioned, played that much, didn't show any kind of concern on his shoulder. Can you talk about that now?
Well, he hasn't shown any since he's been back out there, which is good because we weren't putting him out until he was, without question, healed. So if something ever happens again, knock on wood, it's not going to be because he didn't heal properly, right? So he's fully healed and fully cleared, and I think we could have put him out there a month ago, and we wouldn't have noticed the difference in him. And that's just how he is. And look how many times he came back from it last year. I'm not sure how many guys would have done that. Really, in the sense of like getting cleared and then coming back out there and doing all the extra rehab. And Tim deserves a lot of credit for that. He was given a new name by Grant Galen. He called him Dr. Tim. So I now refer to him as Dr. Tim. So first, I already thought he was, but now Grant thinks he is too, so that's good enough for me. So Dr. Tim has done a great job with him, as have Dr. Rink, Dr. Allfield did the surgery. So, but these guys, every one of the guys that have come back from the injury, you can't push them past being timid. You can't push them into feeling they're comfortable. Only they can do that. And we leave them alone on that. They've got to feel that. And they've done a really good job of that. So he plays, he needs this time. He needs to continue to have that versatility for us. He's going to be a guy that, especially with Colin out, that is going to play just numerous roles for us. Zach Roberts is going to work his way into that. And as I told Zach, I'll tell you when I don't think you're good enough or you can't play. So until you hear it from me, just go out there and treat yourself like you've been here a long time, and he'll get that as well. So I didn't think any of them played like they'd been injured at all, and it was good.
Zach?
I'm sure he's not near the finished product, but Devontae's a guy who teammates have brought up just because of his confidence, his aggressiveness, has impressed them in the preseason. Is that maybe a little bit of what we saw tonight?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he'll continue to get better too. He's learning the nuances of it and really working a lot with his footwork. He's so quick, and sometimes he's too quick, with the ball. So he has to, where he doesn't get his feet down the way that they have to be. But the reasons we offered him when we did is because not only of his talent, you could see his talent before we offered. It was his precision. It was his execution. It was not only his three-point shot making, it was the way he delivered the ball. It was the way he got up and defended people. It was the velocity that he put on the ball in his passes. It was the force that he played defense with. And I think we're seeing that as he gets more and more confident. We're asking a lot of him because every one of the freshmen, and Duran will get there. And even though Duran's got great feet. We're playing him like he's a hockey player right now. I mean, it's very short shifts for him. And we're both on the same page with that. We just talked about it again because Duran's going to be a very good player, but he's got to get healthy. He's got to work his way into the condition. He's a product of not being here this summer and then having some setbacks in the fall with some injury things. So Devontae and Curtis are guys that are going to continue to get better and better inside of that. And Grant just needs to get the defense down and get his confidence down, and he'll get better and better. But Devontae and Curtis can be very interchangeable for us, and we'd like to get it to the point where they understand exactly how to make everybody else better, like our team is learning how to make them better.
Rick?
Yeah, James is back from the knee injury. He missed, obviously the last half of last year. What did he learn during that timeout, do you think, and what has he shown you that he's added to his game?
Well, I think it's ongoing. I think we've been very hard on the juniors. I have been, for reasons of leadership, and not just playing, but the responsibility that they have to take for everybody else. All three of them are quiet by nature. James as well, and all three of them are coming back from major surgeries. And this was the first time we forget about Josh. He not only hadn't played in a year, but a year ago he was barely walking. When he was here. So the microfracture surgery is a very, very tough surgery to come back from. And so we're asking a lot of the juniors. We know they've overcome some things. And James is the epitome of a guy that has got so much more to give, and we're going to hold him to a high expectation level of it. But I thought he moved the ball. I thought he talked better tonight. I thought he moved without the ball. I thought he was ready to shoot. We put him in the post. There are different things that we can do. And the more that they get comfortable back in their own skin of playing the game after the time that they've missed, the more they'll get comfortable with their teammates. But with our schedule, we're trying to push that a little bit faster. We don't have 3 or 4 games before we get into a big game, big name team situation. We started right away. But I thought he did a good job tonight as well. I'll see what the film says, but I thought he did a really good job. In case of James. One more? Go ahead, then I saw one back there. Go ahead.
Just in terms of James and leadership, that was something that Yogi kind of talked about a little bit last year, just trying to aid it out of him, trying to push him along and say, hey, you got to be a leader next year when I'm gone. Is that something you have to force out of him, or do you see the qualities and you just kind of...
No, it needs to be forced, but it needs to be forced out of Yogi as well, right? I mean, it really did. Yogi's leadership went to a whole other level when we got into the Big Ten season. But look, what Yogi had was a presence, was a durability, and people had a real comfort level playing with him because it was like it was safe to play with Yogi because Yogi was so good. Yogi could do so many different things. So there's different forms of leadership. But verbal, demanding, make the game easier for everybody else, that takes time for guys. It's very unnatural for most people. And so you're trying to you got to speed that process up. It's like player development, all right? You speed the process up for them. Now you slow it down if it becomes too much. But a lot of times guys don't understand the abilities that they have, and it's your job as a coach and the coaching staff to pull that out of them. So they'll get there. They'll get there. We want them to be comfortable, but we also want them to make the game easier for their teammates. And a lot of times it's not only the nonverbal presence, it's the verbal presence that's got to be there. And then it makes it easier for them as well. Go ahead. One back there.
Josh?
I'm good. You answered my question about you.
For those of us who won't be here Friday, I mean, just your thoughts on playing Scott down to the team?
Well, it really, the date worked for us as much as anything else. And he's a very good coach. It's a very good program. And they'll play extremely hard. And we're not used to doing things with a team 2 years in a row. But we have a lot of respect for him. And again, the date worked for us because we wanted to play that date, knowing when we're leaving for Hawaii. And our guys will be ready. I'm sure they will be too, but our guys will be ready. They're tremendous screening, cutting, move without the ball team. They put a lot of pressure on you with their cuts. So we're gonna have to defend that at a high level. And they'll be a little more We may have to guard the half court a little bit longer at times, you know, so that'll be a part of it too. So it'll be a great next step for these guys. Okay, thank you.
One note on Robert Johnson.